Someone placed a body carefully into a shallow pit. The knees were drawn toward the chest. The posture was not the result of accident. The surrounding sediment had been disturbed by human hands rather than collapse or erosion. Nothing in the cave required this configuration. It was imposed. Tinshemet Cave lies within the limestone hills of what is now central Israel, part of a region long known for preserving some of the earliest burials in human history. The layer in which these remains were found dates to roughly 100,000 years ago, during the Middle Paleolithic. In that era, stone tools are expected, hearths are expected, cut-marked animal bones are expected, structured responses to death are not. At least 5 individuals were recovered from the burial context. Their bodies were placed in flexed positions, knees bent toward the torso. The pits appear to have been excavated intentionally. The skeletons were not scattered or disarticulated in patterns typical of carnivore disturbance. Their orientation suggests decision rather than disposal. Ochre fragments were present within the burial layer. The pigment does not occur naturally in that concentration in the cave's sediment, indicating it was brought in. Basalt pebbles, geologically foreign to the surrounding limestone, were found near some of the bodies. Animal remains appeared in proximity, though not in patterns consistent with ordinary refuse. These elements do not confirm ceremony, they do demonstrate selection. The Levant during this period functioned as a corridor of interaction between populations of early Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. Comparable burials at nearby sites such as Skul and Kafse have long been discussed as possible evidence of early symbolic behavior. Tinshemet enters that discussion not through spectacle but through continuity. The pattern recurs. Excavated pits, flexed bodies, transported pigment, objects placed where geology would not have placed them. For much of the 20th century, complex ritual behavior was treated as a relatively late development. Associated with fully modern humans tens of thousands of years later, burial became a threshold marker of advanced cognition. The presence of intentional interment at 100,000 years ago complicates that boundary. The issue is not whether these individuals were buried. The stratigraphy and spatial relationships support that conclusion. The difficulty lies in determining what burial signified at that depth in time. Was this protection from scavengers, a hygienic practice, a social marker of belonging, or did the act carry symbolic weight beyond practical necessity? The burial remains intact. The belief that shaped it does not. A flexed body can be read as fetal symbolism. Ochre can be interpreted as a representation of blood or renewal. Stones can be framed as offerings. Each interpretation rests on analogy rather than inscription. No carved sign accompanies the bones. No written belief survives. What remains is structured behavior without explicit explanation. Deliberate interment implies recognition that death required response. It suggests that the dead were not abandoned where they fell. Whether that response reflects spiritual belief, social memory, emotional attachment, or pragmatic strategy cannot be separated cleanly at this temporal distance. The archaeological record preserves conduct, not interior thought. What Tinshemet challenges is not the age of humanity, but the timeline of human interiority. If individuals were treated with care in death at this depth in time, then symbolic awareness may extend further back than once assumed, possibly shared across populations we previously divided too sharply along cognitive lines. The cave contains no monumental architecture. It preserves no carved figurines or decorated walls. Its evidence is quieter: a pit, a posture, pigment, stones placed with intention. Whether we designate the act as ritual or not, someone chose to respond to death with deliberate structure. That choice presses against long-standing boundaries about when symbolic behavior began to take form.